Hello everyone, welcome to the Thinker's Corner for the ideologies, particularly in relation to the teachings of Dr. Ambedkar.
Run by an RSS institute. The way that people are treating me is totally different. He was continuously using the praise of Jai Bhim in his all the speeches. For an example, like for me, it was Gauri Lankesh. In a library, no book of Ferrier.
These nuances in your short film, like Yarugu Helunu Bayada and also Sanjay Kempanante, and
It is coming from the deep uncomfortableness of mind. So my stories are driven from very personal opinion.
there are like plenty of aspects of the society that you have captured. Lal Bhagwa ek hai, baki sare fake hai. So that embracing the RSS ideology and then love is not natural. So
the Malaysia Room is a very Brahminical central location in Bangalore. Teju, who enters in front of Ambedkar, he's like going in a right way and right path. Caste discrimination is more modernized. It's in the way they talk. I don't know. I was literally scared. Most of the people was not even knowing that December 25th was Manusmriti Davan Divas.
This portrait was already there, or that purposefully used for your film?
They can't deny the existence of Ambedkar. They need because ignore.
Bullock cart, and because of that Ayankali and how he used it as a tool for the self respect.
My HOD doesn't want it to hear. I just wanted to make him hear. This is a story I want to tell. I just wanted to thank you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Ajay, for talking to us. Hello everyone, welcome to the Thinker's Corner. Today in this new episode, we are happy to introduce you an emerging filmmaker, Ajay Tambe. Hailing from the Bahujan community and resident of Anchepalya, a rural area in Bengaluru, passionately embraces his radical ideologies inspired by the teachings of Dr. Ambedkar. With a strong background in the local culture, Ajay has directed short films such as Yarugu Helunu Bayada, Sanjay Kempa Danthe, and a documentary centered around wooden bullock carts titled Warle Hidida Hali. His academic journey includes pursuing a degree in arts with core subjects in psychology, literature, and journalism at MES Degree College, Bengaluru. Furthering his education, Ajay obtained a master's degree in mass communication and journalism. In addition to his academic pursuits, Ajay actively engaged in theatre activities, providing him with a unique perspective on the art of cinema and storytelling. A true cinephile, Ajay's craft is rooted in deep connection to the culture, caste, and human psychicness, shaping his cinematic vision and contributing to his storytelling. So, welcome Ajay to our show. How are you?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be in this interaction. Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, we'll start our conversation. I will just ask you a very, the basic question about. So, can you tell us more about your background and like what actually have influenced your filmmaking journey?
Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, I was always was like a normal kid, like who was watching cinemas with my sisters, with my family, and all. And that time, what my perception of cinema was, cinema is a celebration. Cinema. People make cinema for joy. It's an entertainment thing. So I was usual kid, was not much aware of cinema and the word cinema at all, and how the intellectuals call themselves as cinema, or the word cinema's impact to it, and the politicalness in the cinema. I was not at all aware of that. So when I was in a school, the implications of culture and the caste biasness in the society, I was not aware of it. I was like so used to it when I came to degree, when I came to studying Ambedkar, or reading Ambedkar, or reading everything about caste, and which made me aware. So coming back to after studying my school, I went to pursue diploma, and I failed at it, terribly failed at it, and then joined PUC again. I did a science, like in first year and second year PUC. So I completed my second year of UC in PCMC, sorry, computer science. Then I joined a degree in BA, which includes psychology, journalism, and literature. So this is how I came to know. So when I started learning, literature was a part of my core subject in degree. So there where I got explored with the stories. One of the stories that made me think. So when I was studying literature, so the writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez, he brings his political awareness and the politicalness of the society in his writing with a magical realism of it. So the idea struck me. It was an amazing idea, telling a story without indulging too much into politics and making it communicate so well. So in when I was doing a degree, there was a group called Ranga Vaibhava in my degree college. So the the directors were all coming from with the education of Ninasam. Ninasam is an theater group where they study theater, where they study acting, where they study storytelling, everything. So people from who got educated from there, they were coming and teaching us for the students in degree. So that is where I got made me very excited. So at the usual time, I was very a fan of Quentin Tarantino. I was totally watching every single movie of Quentin Tarantino. Then I'm back to Indian cinema, and I was newly introduced to Anurag Kashyap movies. Uh, these were the directors I followed, and then I got to know there's a core level of it. Then I understood there is a ground rooted story that has been already been saying in Kannada in Kannada industry also and in Tamil industry. Until unless I would never got an good exposure about my route itself, because when I learned words in mass, then I got to know these are the cinemas. These are not merely made for entertainment. It's much more than that. So I got to know about Paranjat movies. Then I got to know about Mari Selvaraj and how beautifully they are articulating it in my word. And they were telling a story of uncomfortableness, the stories and the culture of implication, the toxic implication of culture just because of the caste. So this made me so much aware. And theater helped me in pursuing acting. I did a 3 year degree was a 3 year course. So with that, we also did a yearly. We were doing two production in a sense, two theater plays. So this made me learn so much with them. I was going there to just see how the director brings the scene that put in a paper into an existence. That made me so much exciting to learn. How will they do it? Like how do they do the blogging of it? How do they make it lively? So for me, that was a very curious thing to know, more than an acting. I just wanted to sit and see how director brings it to into lives, the character into lives. So this made me very exciting from the beginning. So that is where I started, and I started doing a short movie called Don't Be That Guy. Then it became Sanjay Kempadante, and now I recently did
Yeah.
Yarigo Hedono Biera. Before that, I did a documentary for my master's. So I also did a master's in mass communication and journalism in Bangalore City University. So with a part of my college curriculum, we wanted to do a documentary, and the subject they are given me was an wooden bullet. So I
Mm.
also did a documentary on that. So this is a
Yeah,
brief.
you talked about all your short films and documentary as well in the
Mhm.
discussion. But like coming back to the discussion, like where you have pointed out that how the that politicalness and also the cultural understanding of the society, that really influence you to be become a filmmaker and also be part of your filmic journey. So I want to ask you that how has your identity as a Bahujan community member
Mhm.
shaped your
Mhm.
perspective and also the ideologies, particularly in relation to the teachings of Dr. Ambedkar?
Mhm. For me, when I was studying degree, like where do I get to know about Ambedkarite groups and the ideology? So mostly when you're studying college and all, when you're studying degree, I don't know about the other state part of it or the other part of the district or the how the politics works in the other state. But in Karnataka and particularly in Bangalore, what people in particularly I'm talking about my college its degree was MES college was center about a Brahminical society. It's more centered to a elite place in Malleshwaram called is Malleshwaram. Malleshwaram is the place where all the Brahmins were located. So when I was studying degree, it was run by an RSS institute, if I'm not wrong. So the idea were only between the right and the left. Uh, Left in a sense, only the communist ideology of the something like that. So I was not much aware of the political angle at all. I was just into cinema. I was just into some music. I would never get influenced with something that happened to even I was studying a journalism. Never the politics never influenced me. When it get triggered was when Gauri Lankesh was assassinated by the RSS too. So that is where I got to know there's a line. I always thinking I'm a left or lenient to left or something like that. I was never knowing there's an idea of like me the people why are treating me like why the way the people are treating me is totally different, and the ideology what we are, need to have is very different. Then I got to know about Gauri Lankesh. Then I started studying about Gauri Lankesh. Then I got to know about Prakash Ray, and he was continuously using the phrase of Jai Bhim in his all the speeches. Then I got to know what is this like. I started talking about more with my friends, and with my friends I got to know there's a lot of Bahujan background, and they're also coming from Dalit background. Then I was sitting and talking with them. Then I got to know there is a Sangh, Dalit Samiti Sangh. It's been there in Karnataka and it's the oldest in the India. Then I started. There is a Kodiganalli Ramaya is a prominent speaker from the Dalit community, Dalit activism. So I started listening to him, like how the gray areas it has been. We were never been exposed to the idea of we are always thought about right and the left, the ideology of the right and the left, and the even we have been influenced with what are the things that happening in JNU. We are sitting in Karnataka and Bangalore. We never ever was made us think about what the society has been around us. Never. It was always about the JNU students, like how they're like Umar Khalid. I'm not taking against them or stand against them. I'm just talking about the idea of Ambedkar, the idea of Bahujan ideology was never been thought, was never been spoken. It was very hard thing for us to know. For an example, like for me, it was Gauri Lankesh who exposed me. Oh, this is something that's bad happening with us, and we are not even conscious about that. So we need to make our conscious. That is where I started learning why, and then there I got to know about Suraj Angde. Then I take his book called no, Caste Matters. Then I got to know about Yashika Datta. Then now Rahul, like I was been trying to learn, and this is I got to know about the real essence of what we are and how our voice has been suppressed. So this made me so much angry about what I was because we were never thought of what we wanted to be, right? Our ideology was never been voiced up. So these are the things that made me, and I started learning in the early ages when I was studying degree, and when I was started talking about it, and I was talking about my friends with them. So what has happened with my childhood? It was a trauma that has been happened just because I'm coming from that particular background. The people have treated me like this, and but I got to know it's even in a when it comes to caste. We usually talk about like Brahmins or something like this, the Brahminical hierarchy that has been there. When Kodiganalli Ramaya, when I was talking about the Karnataka activist Kodiganalli Ramaya, he's the one who taught us, who made us radical. When I was listening to him, he tells in his head, caste. If you need to annihilate caste, it's not about caste. It's need to be. You need to talk about it. You need to open up about the subcaste in it. So until unless you will talk about particularly about caste, it never happens. The annihilation never happens. You need to talk about the subcaste of it. So that is where it started talking. Like in Karnataka, the oppressive caste in Karnataka is Gaudas and Lingayats, right? There's a lot of gray areas which we need to include, and we started talking about it. And I stood for an election in my college, and it turned into an amazing thing. I stood for a president post in my college, and I started talking about Perrier. It was a huge thing for me to talk about Perrier. Like nobody was heard about it. Like I was talking in a library. There was a library in our college, and there is no book of Perrier. Not was one book was referred to Perrier and was not written by Perrier. was nothing. And even for a left liberal or something like that, there was no book of Lohia. And the students were not heard about Lohia at all, and also about Periyar at all. So this is how they were keep on suppressing it, and we are not even getting exposed to what the reality is, what they're trying to say. So these were the things that I started learning myself. So we need to become more aware and aware, aware and aware and aware. So it made me conscious about thinking what's happening here is not right, and we need to take our own stand. So that's how I'm still learning. I'm not telling I'm the biggest learner of Ambedkar. I'm still learning. It
Yeah,
takes a lot of time. So yeah, I'm learning.
yeah, learning will be always the, that part of our lives that we will always learn at a certain point of time. And also you said that it's very, that unfortunate that a place like Bengaluru, uh,
Mm-hmm.
very where a college doesn't have any, that narratives about Bahujan idols and so on. So it's very unfortunate things. And also like you talk about the learning and also the nuances that that part of your learning process that you're trying to bring also into your filmmaking process as well. So
Mm-hmm.
now could you elaborate on like the themes and that you have explored these nuances in your short film like Yarugu Helunu Bayada and also Sanjay Kempanante and so like what inspired these narratives? So in a briefly, so we can also like later we talk about in a detail.
Yes. So when it comes to Sanjay Kempadante, it is coming from the deep uncomfortableness of mind. So my stories are driven from very personal opinion, very personal things. My stories comes very personally. It's not only driven from ideology perspective. It mixed with my political ideology, but it comes with very personal space. So when I was doing Sanjay Kempadante, I was broke. I was heartbroken, and I was thinking about the patriarchy around us. So we are born with some kind of patriarchy. We are injected with some kind of toxic masculinity in us. Being men itself, like we born up with some kind of privilegeness. And when it has to caste, it is a different ballgame. Uh, there's a there's a need of masculinity for a Dalit, and it's a very need for a Dalit person to be very masculine, because we have been in that kind of oppressive culture. We need to stood up for ourselves. So that's a different thing. So when I was doing Sanjay Kempadante, it's always questioning about the patriarchy of it, the toxic masculinity of menness. So when I was talking about Sanjay Kempadante, I was also talking about the Gaudas. They are the OBC. They are the oppressive OBC in Karnataka, and
Domin-
yeah, um, dominant caste. So the story came from with my surrounding. I was watching them. So for them to go, and also about the rape culture our society has been indulged with. It has become so norm. It's in our song. It's in our culture. It's in everything. For me, it makes me worry when it becomes norm. Uh, like when we are having a conversation itself, we talk aram se, we when we're talking about particularly objectifying girls.
Mhm.
So even the gaze we have, the men carries with it, and with the experience of what my sister went through, the other things. So it all mix up and it get manipulated, and I come up with a story. And I wanted to put a Sanjay Kempadante and put a mirror to this culprit guy. So usually what happens when it comes to telling about a rape story, or something which is rape violence in industry, they always victimize a woman being shed in a dark light or something like that. Oh, she's been raped or something like that. My thing was to turn the camera around to the culprit. What's going on his head? Why is acting like this? So that is where I wanted to make a Sanjay Kempadante. I wanted to put a culprit in front of the camera. What is going on? Is it only his problem is a societal norm that has been injected him to become this kind of person. uh, how the contribution of patriarchy word has also included to do this kind of thing. So where it is coming from? So what's the mindset of this guy? So I just wanted to put a question mark in this guy. Even he also feels sad. He's not enjoying it, right? He's also feeling sad.
Yeah.
But why? Why are you doing this? If you just put in front of a camera, he just wanted to feel sad. He wanted to regret. He wanted to cry. So I wanted to put a camera in front of him and just wanted to say that need to be changed. Your outside, what layered it, you're closing it with your inner feeling. You need to explode it. You need to come out of it. If you're feeling uncomfortable doing what you're doing, and if you're feeling regret and you learn from it, that's the biggest thing. And it's a very dark side of it. We need to. I just want to put it in a very darker side of it. So there was also, for an example, there was a movie called Arjun Reddy, and that is where I was telling how rape has been celebrated. With the music that they put in the background, it's a glorification of what the men is doing is cool. It's a nacho guy who comes in Royal Enfield and who can go and just hit some other girl and can do whatever he can do. The intention, what they're doing, and what the implication that has been given to society, it also implies a lot. And we the people in India who are so much involved in cinema, who are so much involved in heroism, we get easily. I see people around me. I see people around friends like me who get influenced with a hero. What they do is a cool thing. So it's not only in their personal life, it's also on the screen what you're telling. So these are the things. And also there was a thing that's happening around movie called there's a movie called Lolita. It's not only about Indian cinema. It's not only about Indian cinema. There's a very problematic cinema called Lolita, where they also celebrating what we call a toxic masculinity thing in a man in a different way. So I just wanted to mix up and how this has been contributing to this kind of stuff. So that was an idea. I wanted to put it around Sanjay Kempadante. And when it comes to Yarigu Helanu Bada is particularly about caste and Brahminical patriarchy and the culture, how it is. And it is particularly set in Malleshwaram, where I studied. I was talking about my college, MES Degree College. It's set in center there, and it's talking over three fronts. Two of them are coming from Dalit community. One is come from the Brahmin community. So I just wanted to set it. I just wanted to because when I do it with my personal experience, Malleshwaram is an elite place. Everybody thinks it's a very good place, it's a very calm place. But for me, when I was going from this, I live in Anchepalya. It's a rural Bangalore side, and I need to go to the center city of the Bangalore. So for me, it was very made me so uncomfortable. They are not okay with what I'm eating. They are not okay with how I talk. Like there is some kind of very modernized discrimination. That's like the way they talk, the way they see us, the gaze they have, the Brahminical gaze they have, the Savarnistic gaze they bring to us. That made me very uncomfortable. I just wanted to put that into a concept and just wanted to make this Yarigo Ranubara into a love story. So again, it is not for me. It is not again to put a Dalit guy in front of a camera and need to say how pleasing how you know what do you say for that. Um, I don't want to victimize some of them and showing, oh, this is what happened to him by this guy. I just wanted to put the camera on that guy. Why are you acting like this? And stop. I don't want to put a Dalit person into like, oh, why it is happening to him like this. I don't want to question that. I wanted to question that. Why are you doing like this? I wanted to put a culprit in front of the camera and just wanted to ask, why are you doing like this? Is it a reason because of this? Is it because of how you're brought up? Is it because of your culture? And the guy who is coming from he is cool, he's chill, he's good in his life. But this is very psychicness, the mindset of Brahminical idea. I'm not talking about the person. It's very psychic. It's very problematic. It's very toxic, and it is not killing them. It's killing you. So I just wanted to say my kind of story. See, uh, I'm sorry about you. I'm sorry about your life. This is not a life you wanted you wanted to lead or something like that. So at least he is living in a peace. You're not understanding. He's living in a love, and he has so much of love coming from it, and he's not even judging you. And who are the person you? So for me, mirror plays a very important role in my short cinema, and it is a reflection of what the person is. So
Yeah.
even if you watch two of the short movies, there's a mirror in it. So I just wanted to imply storytelling into it. There's a nuances to what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. You're like part of filmmaking. You know the different use of different tropes in your film. Like as you have said, that mirror plays a very
Yeah.
significant role to the showcase the society, that how it look like when you are part of this system. Like in your Sanjay Kempadante, like the internalization of patriarchy, and then that normalization of the narrative, basically the toxic masculinity. You question it very that brilliantly. And also like in Yarigu Helanu Bayada, like your utilization of the subtle and bold symbols to like the caste hierarchies. And like, so I want to ask you that how do you basically see these elements works together to inspire the viewers to act against caste discrimination and in their own lives? And also like there are few things that I want to talk about this particular short film which you have released recently. So it's very significant film in a way that it talks about so many things in a the 20-minute. Basically it's a very short film, but still you manage to capture. There are like plenty of aspects of the society that you have captured, like the mise-en-scene that you have used. I remember that this Brahmins Thate Idli, there was like a soap called Thate Idli, and then also the Ganesha food joint where you entirely that started your short film, and also the mentions of the raid and saffron, like the red chutney and then green chutney, but there is another layer in it, that red and saffron. So we call it like लाल भगवा एक है, बाकी सारे fake है. So this is the narrative you know that brought into your film, that how they are this communism. At the one hand they are talking about the communists and the radical politics, but at their household, in their household and in their individual life, they are like that embracing the RSS ideology. And then so you really that talk about. And also the love marriage aspect. So the love marriage aspect is that sometimes we see it as a casteless act, basically, that love marriage, if somebody is that done love marriage, then we see that wow, how the modern, how radical the person is. And like it's a very that radical step anybody can take in their life, but it's not. There is a that sub layers. There are so many layers in beneath it. People do love marriage in their same caste and they call it as a radical. It's not radical. That's why I that it remind me of the love as a natural act. It's not a natural act. Love is not natural. So like there are so many things that you have brought up. And also like I want to also talk about the particular aspect in your cinema where you that used Ambedkar's portrait with a window. And also there is in that particular frame, you also captured, there is a placard, there is a board which is written on it like this: welcome to the world of possibilities. And so like it says that here dreams ignite and future flourishes. So it's remind me that how the window and the Ambedkar's portrait is inviting the people from the Dalit community, from the marginal community, to break this window and come out from the shackles of this, the dominance and hegemony of Brahminical patriarchy, Brahminical, that system. So it's a brilliant use of all this, the mise-en-scene that you have, utilized in your filmmaking. And then finally that Manusmriti. So how do you see it, that how it helps, like particularly viewers to, the think in that direction and how you
Yeah.
basically while shooting and while that planning for the scripting the story, how you plan all this.
First of all, thank you so much for noticing the nuances of my shots. And it means a lot to me. For an example, like you mentioned about the Brahmin Tata Idli. Also, that is where the city is setting up. The Malleshwaram is a very Brahminical central location in Bangalore. And also, when you were talking about the Ambedkar photo and the portrait of it, so everything was in a paper. Like when I was writing it, I had an idea of to bring this like this. So we got a chance opportunity, and it was very challenging for me to put it into a short movie because there is a lot of things happening. Even I think a lot if I could extend it a lot, but with the budget constraint, with all the things that we do have, we shot that whole college scene from one day full, one night full. I'm
Mm.
not even. We started the coffee shop scene at early morning at 6, and we ended up shooting the whole day and the dream sequence of the
Wonderful.
college scene. Yeah, 6 o'clock till the next 6 o'clock. We were still there. We didn't have any sleep at all. And thanks to my cinematographer, it's Maisha.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah. So, and also one of the other cinematographer who did the cinematography for Dream Sequence was Srungara Ali. So they were amazing team, and what I had, or the assistant directors and the team, what I got, and they believed in it. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about my team. Sorry to because what happens in Karnataka in YouTube, if you see my views and all, it's like not even reached to 2K. It's already 12 days up, and we already got some opinions from the who is a thinker, who is a philosopher, who is no intellectuals who know the idea of what it is, but they know that the team know this is he's making something, and the way they believed me is something amazing because they are not getting well recognized in it. They're also thinking this is a good cause of it. So that's the team spirit I had with the whole team, like with the editor Gautam Palaki, who also produced it with me, and also the sound designers. They were all supportive to me. Like they were telling, "Oh, this is going to be amazing." This is going. When Kannada, the short movies or works only is talking about double meaning, and if you have talking about girls in a particular way and objectifying girls, that's how it works. So these kind of, I'm not telling there's no platform at all. We are creating that platform. We are there for that, but there's not enough platform or enough viewers for this. So it was an amazing team to work with it. And when it comes to nuances, so yeah, the idea of what you said, like for me was Teju, who enters in front of Ambedkar. He's like going in a right way and right path, and who takes in a good way. That was my idea, and these guys two guys sit and talk about the relationship what that guy is going through. And for me, I wanted to make this Kashyap guy who's playing as a oak person, who understand discrimination, who understand every aspects of it, but what's going in his mind. Yeah, I have seen people like telling it's not in city. It's more uh, it's more modernized. The caste discrimination is more modernized. It's in the way they talk. It's in the way they show up in their talking, and they still make feel like they're rogue. They can understand what's happening with everybody, but still it's not. They still have the same idea where it's coming from. So for me, it was a very choice of me to burn the Manusmriti because to show where the ideas is coming from for this guy. Is coming from this particular community and what he's going through, and he's also he acts when there is no one there. He in front of mirror, he's already regretting it. He knows what he's doing is not wrong. the, for me, if you ask me, the story is simple. The story is a guy who is friend with this guy who's also backstabbing. just being having a relationship with, having a love for that girl also, like who is like the other friend is being in a relationship, and he wanted to come out of, he wanted to make this guy to break up with her and to set up. But it is not simple as it is. It is not because he loves her. It is not because of he has a huge crush on her. It is because of his
Caste
caste, yeah,
privilege.
privilege. He doesn't want her to be in that particular caste, the person to love this particular guy or
Yeah.
something. This. So my idea was this, and the way red chutney, green chutney, what to it's a I wanted to bring it in more humor way. It is talking. It is in talking about the subcaste of it. So
Yeah.
he's coming and telling there's in Brahmin caste also there's Bharadra, there's a Kashyap, there's a subcaste of their Iyengar, everybody. So he's telling about the same thing, and he's talking about it like telling it's a vegetarian term, and he's telling red chutney and green chutney. There's
Mhm.
some, and also there's a comment of telling her uncle is in RSS, but her dad is a communist.
Communist. Yeah, that's why.
So the rivalry what they are set up in this country, it's all about the communist is very liberal and they have a very radical thoughts, and right is very extreme. But
Mm.
for me, they're
That's,
from coming from the same community,
yeah.
and they're the same. So I wanted to tell with this guy itself, like he's also from the same community. It's a joke on them. So
Mm.
I wanted this kind of implication. I made it. I feel it very humorous when I was writing. I don't know how much I bought into
Yeah.
when I was executing it. These were the aspects I always wanted to explore with the humorous what we find it.
Mm.
And also there's a symbolic of and there's in a writing they say why is dad means Rachana's dad wears a watch in right hand, and the symbol of my thought was when the person is getting hit, like Teju getting hit, so somebody is wearing a watch, and the symbol of the hammer and all, it's a communist party
Mm.
symbolization. I just wanted to symbolize it
Right.
in a very yeah. And also for me, when I did it, no, I did it in a very curious way, and I was like very excited, and we'll finish this movie and all. And when I watched it finally, I felt very challenging to put it out. I don't know, I was literally scared, and I went on to show this to one of my teacher, like one of my mentor. It's called Abaka. She watched it and she loved it, and she wanted to screen it in Malleshwaram itself.
Mm.
And this was for me a biggest revolutionary thing what we did. So we are screening a Manusmriti book in the center of where the Brahmins live. So that was a huge thing for me, and we did it. And to be honest, most of the audience who came there who watched it, they love the idea of it. I thought people. My only thought was people will. One was people will neglect the movie. People will never understand it. This was my initial thought, and the people will get easily offended. So because it has some very offensive for who believes in one particular way. So I thought, but it was very surprising for me. They took it. Most of my friends also took it in a very positive way, and most of them, to be very honest, most of them were not even knowing what this Manusmriti was,
Mm.
where it is what. Like that made me even more sad for me. Like why the people are not even aware of it. The idea what the toxic implications what we have in our culture, it is coming from this kind of work
Mm.
where it has been already read and been there, and there is also a lot of debate happening, right? There is a sculpture of Manu that in Rajasthan that has been marked, and one of my bravest ladies who went from the Dalit community, and they were painted a
And
black paint
like,
on on it. And these are the news are not even reaching out to the to my college students. It's for me when I was doing Sanjay Kampadante, it's a coming of age kind of storytelling, right? Three of the guys who gets into this and to understand, oh, this is not life, oh, this is how it works. Caste is a very different angle, right? And for an example like Kashyap, he's also plays it's also coming from his home and all, and how he's acts like Hawkeye, but he's still in the same old culture that has been studied from, like, been taught from his family or something like that. So for me, and there was a most of the discussion that was happening, and I was surprised uh, why the students are not knowing this, why our ideas, why our most of the people was not even knowing that December 25th was Manusmriti Davan Divas. So that dot connected me even very well. Like, why, for an example, like January 1st, they were trying to make Vishwa Karma Dina or something like that to suppress our Koregaon day, right? So these are the things that happening, how our voices are being oppressed from the government itself. And to keep on making this kind of stuff, then I got to know what's the important of this movie to make it. Even if you don't reach out to the larger audience, to make an uh, effort to bring out these things is the most important thing. But I'm not sticking around to. The idea is to reach out to the larger audience. That is what Paranjit also says in cinema. So you need to be fine. You need to be finest in your work. You need to the greatest when you're working in any kind of. If you're working on a script, it will be the greatest. I know where he's coming from. We need to reach a larger audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for me, when I was starting, initially this is the idea to bring it on. I wanted to convey something, and I wanted to am wanted to write what I'm comfortable with. Let me know how we can put. I'm in a learning process that I have learned something else, so I'm thinking how to put it in a better way where everybody can go and watch it in and see it in a very commercial aspects of it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the that one of the objective of the cinema, to serve the the audience in a critical manner, that you engage them to question their own that social norms and the mundane things they do generally in life, which is sometimes people don't realize because of their that embedded hierarchy in their mind and their in their regular activities. The privilege, they are part of it, but they don't that they don't want to recognize it. Maybe they are not aware consciously, but it is there somewhere in their part of their life. So, and also, like, it's a very that bold step that you have took to to showcase this Manusmriti, the burning of Manusmriti on the cinematic canvas, because I don't think that it's a that only about the Kannada that filmic landscape, but also it is also relevant in the Indian and also in the international landscape as well, that you have this cause, this very the evil thing into the cinematic landscape. And also, like, you talk about that how this Bengaluru and particularly the Maleswaram is like dominated by the RSS ideology, particular ideology. And also your college is also part of that RSS, the ideological groups. But how did this portrait was already there, or that purposefully used for your film?
The portrait is always there, and
Always
that's also it will be there, because they, even if they are coming from the extreme right wing, they can't deny Ambedkar. That's the core idea of also bringing, even I'm telling it's an RSS college, and then I'm showing Ambedkar portrait, and if you see it, the camera moves like this. This is all the Brahmins portraits of it, and one Ambedkar.
Only Ambedkar, and which is also top of the window.
In the top of the window. And so that we kept the Ambedkar photo was at the last. We made the cinema when I was using the cinema. I wanted to put this, and it's also making a statement. All the writers and all the poetry what we have, it's all Brahmins. Like everybody, Girish Karna and everybody is there. And when it comes to shift like this, there's an Ambedkar. I think that's the greatest part where I like, they can't deny, not whether they are right, whether they are left, if they are not agree with Ambedkar, if they are not agree with, if they are not agreeing with Ambedkar, they can't deny the existence of Ambedkar. They need, because ignore. Education in an educational sector, Ambedkar should be there. You can't do that. That's I think that's the power of it.
Yeah,
And
it's also
I,
like
I'll
very important part of your film that you most of like the important part of your films was like stuck the camera there and the conversation about
the conversation is happening.
yes.
Yeah.
And also the government job that you also talk about the how government job as a tool to transcend the caste positionality, but it is not the case in the reality. But sometimes we see that even you kind of secured a good life in terms of economic
Mhm.
aspect, but still your caste will not fade away from your life. So but he also questions his some kind of a privilege of being a the son of a government employee.
Mhm.
So that also very important that how Ambedkar also emphasizes on education and that going beyond all these binaries. So yeah, it's a,
Yeah.
it's a great.
Thank you so much, Neeraj. Thank you so much for, because these are the nuances. These are the you are your thoughts, and you went into the deeper level of the conversation. That's my idea of bringing the conversation into the table. Like, even if they are well studied and well organized, like for an example, like Gautam in the character, his parents are like his parents are has grown up with the challenge that with an if the Ambedkar was not there, it wouldn't be possible for them. So
Yeah.
they went and they took a government job and they were settling and they were doing well in their life. And this guy is questioning that, and
Mm.
he want to accept that, he want to accept that as a privilege.
Yes, I
So
am privileged.
yeah, that is, I don't know, this how the conversation need to be built. And I wanted to bring that, even if he's also well settled, the caste will not leave us.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, so like although we have that ran out of time, but
Yeah.
there is if we can discuss about your documentary, because I could see that there is
Mm.
a the relevance in it because of that bullock cart and because of that Ayankali and how he that used it
Mhm.
as a tool for the self respect and self dignity.
Mhm.
So you started your documentary with this message of it relation with the Ayankali. So what was
Mhm.
the idea behind? Because you that you got a project and you got the theme, but bringing this
Mhm.
idea of Ayankali's movement into the narrative was a that different thing. So how did you manage and how what was the idea behind it?
To be very honest with you, Neeraj, there's a very political there's a politicalness into it in every college. I don't know what. So when I went to Bangalore City University to do my masters, I was very woke about my politicalness. I was very woke about. I wanted to more aware, and I was making a voice about my political ideology. So I don't know. I'm very bit skeptical about the teachers around it. When I got an opportunity, I wanted to do a documentary on Gubbi Virana Rangamandira. Gubbi Virana Rangamandira. It's an amateur theater in Bangalore City, in Majestic. So when I choose this, my HOD said you can't do this because he already know what I wanted to do.
Mm,
He doesn't want to portray that, like, I wanted my idea was I will definitely do that documentary also. I have an idea, but I don't know how I can do it, but I definitely want to do
you
it.
have
But the idea was me to do that was why people call that as an amateur theater. When there is a Ninasam group and the other group, they call as a well-studied theater group, and
mm,
why these people called as amateur. It is not only about the act they do; they also entertain more than people than Ninasam, and there's a larger audience to it come and to view it. Why you're calling amateur? It was a question of me to do it, but somehow they didn't agree to do this topic, and they wanted to randomly give something, and they gave me you do wooden bullockets.
mm,
And I just wanted to bring out my voice.
mm.
I really wanted to bring out my voice. You give me nowhere. There is, in every aspects of it, if you wanted to name an object, if you wanted to do a documentary on it, without bringing a caste angle or
You can't.
without bringing an Dalit activism in it, there is no completion of it. So I went, I made, there was a no angle to it. It was just only to portray how this wooden mulakat has been dissolving, and how this tired mulakat has been uprising. There's no question of, he was very particular about, there need to be no question of it. I bring out the classism into it. I bring out the casteism into it. I wanted to talk about everything about it. So I went there. So they gave me one day. I went to Shimoga with the help of Navin. Navin is also an anti-caste man. He also doing a short movie and all. So he helped me. I searched around Bangalore. There is none of the farmers were using the wooden bullock carts.
Mhm.
Okay, and what this guy wanted from when I was doing my masters and all, he wanted to signify it is dissolving and it is very harmful or something like that. And I wanted to disagree with it. If you wanted to just for your aesthetics, you can't imply that to people like people like our community to still and use the wooden blockers just to make you feel good about your aesthetics and this your culture. And it was when it was implicated, when it was in running the wooden blockers and all, our community people was never even given the chance to use it.
Mhm.
Now they can use tractor and all. Now they want these guys to use it just to keep up our culture. So
Because
I
you
just wanted to break it.
you want us to
Yeah,
discarded things, no? That's
this
the
kind of thing.
idea behind.
Yeah, I started my documentary with Ankali. I started my documentary with to make a statement. No, this is what I wanted to make a statement. So you can't stop me. This is not a degree where teachers come and tell me what are the questions that you need to answer. You just need to answer. I am doing my master to study my PhD thing. I wanted to research about it, and this is what I found it. And I wanted to end up with Ambedkar quote,
But yeah.
finding out like, yeah, you will be with all the implications, you will be taught like how to do it. And for me, what wanted to convey is to break through that. And I wanted to talk about why there's no bank giving money to the farmers.
Farmers, yeah.
Yeah, why there is no technology support that's been given to the farmers. These are the questions I wanted to convey. And there's a lot of what I wanted to explore, but within that 16 minutes, I didn't have a much of chances because it has been my cameras and everything was given from from my department itself. So it was a bit challenging for me. So the idea of whole Bullock thing, the documentary Varla Ididadi, was to
Yeah.
bring a voice to what my HOD doesn't wanted to hear. I just wanted to make him hear. This is a story I wanted to tell. Do whatsoever. So that was a challenge that I took when I was doing the masters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beauty that in of the filmmaking, that in a limited space, in the limited resources, how you that bring your narrative, not
Yeah.
as a, that as a central point, but in a subtle manner you can use through the different visuals, like reference of different visuals. So yeah, it's a great job that you have done in Yarugu Helanu Bayada as well, and also in this documentary. So on this note, I would like to end our conversation. And if you have any final thoughts or message you would like to share with our audience or at the Thinkers Corner, then you have more than welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you. You're doing a great job and giving a platform like us to come and talk about experience. I know we are just still learning. We are taking a baby step to making a cinema and everything. And this kind of push and what you're giving is most important thing and most important voice to have in our surrounding, in our community. And great job, Neeraj. And thank you again for giving this opportunity. Means a lot to us.
Thank you, Ajay, for talking to us and bringing this very important issue to the fore. And I wish you all the best for your all the project and all your cinema that you are planning to bring to us. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Neil. All the best to you too for the PhD thing and whatever the thing you wanted to do, and in the future also. All the best to you.
Thank you.